Greetings. I'm just finishing up a healing session with mushrooms, and there's not much that intimidates me in the world, but mushrooms are one thing that intimidate me pretty much every time, because what mushrooms are capable of doing is demonstrate a truth to us that we can be blind to, our own blind spots, our own limitations. So this message that I bring to you, I feel uncomfortable about. I feel uncomfortable creating a video right now, and yet that's the purpose of this video. It is that what World War Z is all about. Mind you, I haven't heard this term being used yet, and I'm using it now for the first time. Obviously, there's the movie, and the Z symbol is being used, but I can't consciously remember it being referenced, and so the need to justify the term. But what is it? What is it all about? What it's about is taking away the power from that some interest, some variable interest has the power to create value out of nothing. Fiat, central banking, fiat, centralization of power. That's what this war is all about. While a more ideal replacement, some lobby for gold as a replacement. I often talk about Bitcoin Cash as an ideal replacement. And others are Russia. They have their own currency, backed by commodities and energy extraction. And people can get the idea that those who sell energy, that that's the center of power. That's and absolute power corrupts, and that's where evil lies, is those who have the spigot on energy. And in many ways, that's not wrong. Those who have the spigots of energy often have power, but the ultimate power doesn't come from those who are selling energy, because those who are selling energy are still selling a good. They're selling a valuable good that we need. Energy right here. I've got a heater that's running off of propane, not too dissimilar from natural gas or various forms of energy that are used to heat. And they have an essential value. What doesn't have value is the central banks. They are purely parasitical, and they live off of the subjugation of the masses. That's what the empire is. It's a central banking empire. And World War Z is a war against the central banking empire. You'll see throughout history the tactics of this banking empire. It is despicable, vile, and it needs to be purged from the being of each of us. I do what is necessary to purge it from my being. Still, I have some dollars, and still I use those dollars, but I do not keep my primary value in those dollars. I use the dollars solely as currency, not as reserve. And in this way, for myself, I transcend the trap of that fiat currency, is to see it as valuable and to hold it in reserve. So what people talk about as the war of Russia against Ukraine, a war of aggression, a war of whatever people say, the truth is that this is a war against central banking fiat. And each will choose their own side in this war, in World War Z. It will continue until central banking fiat is eliminated. Or I die first. Or maybe the other people in the war die. There's journalists and soldiers and people dying every day in this war. But we must maintain perspective on what this is all about, where this evil force resides. And whenever you get close to it, whenever you threaten its power, it resorts to the most vile acts and deeds. I recently made a Twitter post mentioning DC, the City of London, and the Vatican. Would the world be better or worse off if these places face the same outcome of Sodom and Gomorrah? The truth is that any who support this central banking empire, they are the enemy, and it's a fight to the death, because there cannot be freedom and subjugation simultaneously. The only use for the dollar is to spend it. If you're holding it and you're not spending it, it's a hot potato. And you're subsidizing this system of parasitism. If you're voting for the system of parasitism, you're even worse than someone who keeps their value stored in dollars for any purpose other than as a currency. That's the end of the message. The dog needs to come in the door. And that's what World War Z is all about. I pray that we are victorious in the shortest amount of time possible.